Start. I'm going to call this Lamar County Board of Commissioners workshop meeting to order. Thank you for being here today. Today is July 11th. It's 12:30. The first item on the agenda is the line of credit for the Recreation Department for the lighting update. I know, Sean, you're on. I know this has been a discussion that has gone on for years about that lighting and some of the issues we're having out there. I know Tiffany, and even back when Buddy was there, was a concern, and the board has brought it to your attention. So, Sean, I'll let you go ahead and give us an update about the request for the line of credit. Hey, Sean, you're still muted. What about now? Can you hear now?
Okay, I will check it out. Right.
Lamar? Oh.
Okay.
Hey, Sean. Hey, you just muted yourself back again.
Okay. Is it not? Good. It is.
It's muted on this, y'all, can you unmute it?
That's right.
I had it unmuted, but it just went back muted, so. How about now?
Something like Peachtree City has.
Oh, he's muted himself. You unmute
You
yourself.
mean my
Sean?
thoughts? No, I'm talking about.
It looks like it's working now, if you unmute yourself.
Now.
Yeah, you should be good now.
But I don't think they could use that venue over there.
Are you talking? Say something.
If you can hear it on the speakers.
We hear you.
No, we can hear you.
Can't understand it. I was just thinking somebody can use
Hey, we can hear you. Just mute yourself again.
Right.
Unmute yourself again. You're unmuted now. We hear you. Go ahead.
Phone not detected.
We can hear you. Can you not hear us? I said, we can hear you. Can you not hear us?
Tiffany, do you know what,
Say I
Can you just present?
I probably don't have the
Mr. Chair?
figures, but no.
Yeah, hold on one second, so let's see if we can get this figured out, because people are logged in as well. Reason we can't just put it on speaker is because the people on the Zoom call, the room is what's muted, so they're not able to hear what's going on in here.
Hello?
We can hear you
Hello?
loud and clear now.
Hello?
We can hear you loud and clear now.
Okay.
Alright, so you ready to go?
Yes, sir. I just wonder if anybody else can hear.
Yeah, everybody in the room here can hear you. I'm not sure about Teams. We'll try to find that out in a second. But you can go ahead and get started if you want. We're on the line of credit, and Tiffany's here as well.
Okay, hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Can y'all still hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Just talk.
What it is, he was here and I see him.
What happened?
We can still hear you, but evidently you can only hear me because I had my phone on.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I can hear you.
You can only hear me because of my cell phone.
Yes.
You can go ahead. We can all hear you, Sean. You can go ahead.
Okay, I met with the Board of Correction, the 8th. The poles at the rec department are in really bad shape. And the board would like to request the board to do a line of credit on SPOS. Talk with the bank and they're looking for a resolution and some other things. The biggest thing is I gotta give them a history of our collections on SPOS 4. I provided that, our financials. And so they're trying to fine tune the interest rate, and it's probably around 15 months that we'll be able to pay that back. They're talking about doing a balloon note, so that would fluctuate the rates, because right now the rates would only be around 8 or 8.5 right now. And right now we have about 400,000 in our SPOS collections. But we do have, the bus that we've actually have purchased. So that only leaves about 250 to 280. Depends on the collections. And and I just want to know if the board wants to move forward with this. The lighting system is, everything will be underground, new lights, new poles, and this will be a lot safer for the kids to play. And this is in the budget for our SPOS 4. Just at what the board wants to do.
You said the interest rate right now is between 8 and 8.5?
Yes, because the rates are high. The biggest concern is just trying to do it now versus later, due to the safety of those poles.
Now, I know that when you and I talked about it, the quote is currently coming in under what was budgeted on the SPOS dollars anyway. How much under is it, like 200,000?
I think right now, when we're talking about doing 4 fields, but this is doing all the fields right now.
Okay.
The tennis courts and the skateboard park. Also,
Hey, Sean, what is the quote amount?
I think that's it on 1.1.
I knew it was under 1.2, I didn't know exactly what it was. And on the SPOS, it's 1.5, right, or 1.3?
1.3, 1,305,000.
Yeah, thought it was 200,000. Tiffany, would you like to add in a little bit?
Sure, so just, to elaborate just a little bit, on the, polls, so when we started getting, updated quotes, TJ, suggested we have Musco, Lighting Company come out and look. TJ is one of our rate board members, in Berger. And, Musco is one of the top leading ball field lighting companies, there is, so we had them come out and start the process of just updating the quote that we had. We kind of went off of an old quote we had done a couple of years ago. So when they done that process, they sent Middle Georgia Outdoor Lighting out to actually look at the poles. And when she came out, she was very concerned with the current condition of the poles themselves. The beams that actually hold the lights up, a lot of them are tilting, because the poles are rotted on the inside. And she was concerned that those would actually fall before the pole itself may fall. There again posing, of course, the risk and all that. So they done the quote, done all of that, sent us letters of recommendation on the condition of that. But Musco Lighting actually offers a 20-year warranty. If a light bulb goes out, they replace it. No, I mean, they are top of the line, state of the art. The LED lights would not affect the neighborhood the way they do them. So the quote and everything they gave us is under budget, but it's also a higher end type of lighting than we would get from, some other like lighting company. So that was one of the things, that was most concerning really was the condition of the poles. The candle wick that goes onto the fields, currently are no longer in standard because of the way the lights are tilted, some tilt up, some tilt down. Talked to Will Sneed, who actually, works in, poles and lighting and those type of things. He said just replacing the poles are fine, but like Georgia Power or Southern Rivers or somebody like that's not gonna be able to come out and actually tilt those ball field lights back the way they should be. So then that's when we kind of talked about maybe doing a line of credit. It takes there's about an 8-week to 12-week turnaround time once we say, yes, we want to start this project, which gives us a short time frame because of ball field seasons. So if we were to do it and get it started and have that project started, say, towards the end of the year, that could get them to come in, have that done, all the ball fields relit by the time we start spring season, which would be better than trying to start a project right in the middle of kids playing and that kind of stuff. The way the lighting is, it would light up the parking lot, which has also been another concern out there. Those type of things would help. We could turn the lights on and off from a phone, so that kind of eliminates having to have someone there to flip on ball field lights in case somebody wants to use it. So it helps us in staffing in the long run. So with all of that, Sean started looking into the line of credit. We talked to Musco about their financing, and it would eat up a good bit of our SPOS budget, and we just didn't feel like that was a good, solution. But, so that's when we started maybe looking at different options.
What was their interest rate? Do you remember?
I don't know exactly what the interest rate was. I didn't, I don't know if Sean remembers, but it was around $300-some thousand
And interest payment.
in interest payments. Yeah.
Do we have any questions for Tiffany and for Sean? Sean, can you send those, I know I've looked at them with you, but can you send those documents to everyone? Yes. Hey, I can hear you again on my phone, but not through the system. Okay, you have a question?
Yes, sir, but I think I'll wait till Tuesday when he's here. The difference in current interest rate and the interest rate of local bank is, quite substantial. And this is the second time that I've noticed that our local bank has balked. So I just wanna make sure that we're shopping. Absolutely. So even with interest rate, the interest on 15 months, it still should come under the SPOS budget, so.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Tiffany. Thank you. So the team was successful yesterday, 2 games, they won back-to-back. Have they played today yet?
They play at 2:15.
At 2:15?
Yeah, so it's being live streamed, so on there's a link that's on the thing, so, and then double elimination bracket starts tomorrow, so.
Is that link
Head it out.
on the rec, web?
Yeah, we've been trying to share the link on our rec page, yes.
Put it on Facebook.
Absolutely, so,
All right.
yep.
After what, 7, 8, 9 years coaching out there with Dixie Youth, I am so glad. I used to beg Buddy to change over U-Trip. I think that was a great move, and you get to enjoy things like this. Whereas before, all you get to do is go to Baldwin.
Yeah.
Thank you for all that you've done with this.
Thank y'all.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the regular business meeting agenda. And Carl, you mentioned we have the pastor from Christ Chapel coming for the invocation. And we will have a need for a public hearing. And Anita, would you like to come on and share with us about this public hearing?
Yes, thank you. We only have one application for July. It's a public hearing for rezoning from agricultural to manufacturing. LOR Properties is the applicant. Normally, I would have had an update for you from our Joint Planning Commission, but because of the holiday, we don't meet until tonight. So as soon as they have a list of recommendations, I'll email that out to you guys tomorrow. I also wanted to give an update. I spoke with you all individually a couple of weeks ago about a requested stream buffer variance for property that's located on High Falls Lake, partly in Lamar County, partly in Butts County. The developer who's trying to develop this property has asked the state EPD for a stream buffer variance on a stream head there. We sent, Lamar County officially sent a request to not allow that variance. I've also heard from Monroe County, they also sent a request, so now it's in the hands of the state, and I do not have an update from them yet as if it will be granted or not. But as soon as I do, I'll let you guys know.
Anybody that comes to the government process.
Yeah, just call it that.
Is that what's on the top?
No, but it's not in there. Hey, so, I can't do it on the phone, but.
Yes, sir.
Oh, never mind, I found the mic.
Testing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think I'm take on the role as new IT guy. Hey, any questions for Anita? Yes, go ahead.
Did we get anything back from the High Falls project? Any response from them at all?
A response from the applicant
From the
asking
state
why.
or from the APD?
No response from the state as of yet.
I got you. Thank you.
Can you try to follow up with them between now and Tuesday?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I did see the letter. I did see the letter from, Chairman Tapley down in Monroe County, they are definitely against it. All right, obviously we'll reconvene the meeting, and we have the minutes that you guys have had a chance to take a look at for approval. We'll have the ordinance for the rezoning of the breezing point that was just discussed, and then the potential resolution line of credit for the lighting of the field if approved. And then after that, for our new business, we will have, the solid waste authority, discussion, which is also on our agenda today, so we'll save the discussion until we finish the agenda. Is there any questions or concerns about the agenda for Tuesday night as it currently is presented? All right, we'll move back to our workshop agenda. And our workshop agenda, next topic is the solid waste authority. I know Commissioner Lovett, you asked to add this to the agenda for today.
I did, and I see Miss Amy is in attendance. With your permission, we'll just let her.
Good afternoon. I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have. I was asked to take a look at a couple of issues. One was the viability of an engineering inspection of the solid waste authority, and then also, the process for the deactivation of the authority.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
Sorry. I was asked to look at a couple of issues. First was the the, viability of an engineering inspection of the authority, and then also, the process for the deactivation of the solid waste authority. So I looked at both of those topics. An engineering inspection is something that the commission can authorize. My recommendation is that if the commission chooses to do that you do that with a qualified engineer that has been, vetted by all of you and that has been asked the appropriate questions to make sure it's somebody who knows what they're looking at when they go in. Now, obviously, we don't have a lawsuit pending, so the extent to which that is enforceable by law, is gonna be something that has to be done by agreement between the county and the authority. So, that would be something that would have to be negotiated with the authority. The process for the deactivation of the solid waste authority has been laid out for all of you. I won't go through every single step here, but it requires negotiation between the county, city of Milner, and the authority to come to an agreement as to all of the contracts and projects and pending items that are, before the authority and are under the control of all parties. And then, a resolution must be passed by the county and the city of Milner in order to deactivate. After all of those things are sort of wrapped up, and there's a procedure for winding up the affairs of the authority. So that was more, I believe, just for your informational purposes in terms of the process of deactivation, so you can decide, how you would like to move forward. I will say that the dissolution of the borrower, which here is the, solid waste authority, is a default. It triggers a default of the GFA loan. So that is something to take into consideration, when you're considering all of this. So if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Yep. So both of these are viable options, obviously one better than the other. In the original contract agreement between the Solid Waste Authority and the county, to underwrite the GFA and for us to be the, to underwrite and to sign off on that, there was an agreement that the Solid Waste Authority would participate in audits. So is that enforceable, the engineering audit that we're requesting? I think that you said was, something that was, should be done. Is that enforceable by the contract that was originally stated for the GFA loan?
The audits under the GFA loan, I believe, are more financial in nature.
Mhm.
So it's probably gonna depend on the definition of those terms. The best way to make an engineering inspection occur is going to be if it can be negotiated with the authority.
Okay.
Without a lawsuit, and being completely upfront with all of you, without a lawsuit, it's difficult to force anything to occur. And so, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been there before. So, I am of the assumption that the easiest and best path forward is for us all to cooperate to simply seek the facts. And I think that an engineering audit is the way to go. And I've publicly stated that at the Solid Waste Authority meeting, that this is the path that is the easiest and best for our community, is to look and see if this is a viable project. So.
Any other questions for me?
I was not at the last Solid Waste Authority meeting, but, I was at the last one, not the one previous to that. I thought that the whole Solid Waste Board had to vote anytime they had another expenditure of money, and I thought that that had to be done in the public forum. And we have, I don't know, this much in receipts of what they've got reimbursed for another over $4 million. Is there a reason, or is there anything that we can do to get a hold of that? I mean, there's two members of the board that's sitting here, so was all of this expenditures voted on the last time that there was a meeting? I don't know. But that's supposed to be approved by the board, with minutes to accompany that for it to go to GFA.
And in terms of that being a question for me, I will have to go look at what the requirements are and then let you know if that occurred. So I can't say that did or did not occur appropriately right now, but I can certainly look at that.
Okay, cause this is the first time that we're learning about another $4 million being pulled, and this has been a hot topic, and I just don't understand why we weren't informed at all.
So I'll be happy to look into the procedures and what's authorized under their bylaws.
I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. We got two people sitting right here that we can all have a discussion. I don't understand why it has to keep going back and forth through lawyers, costing the solid waste authority money. It's costing the county money. This is absolutely ridiculous. All we have to do is open our mouths and talk.
Anybody else? Any questions?
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman, we had some other discussion that we internal about that, that didn't involve the same, so, you know, to use your words, our credibility is in providing facts. So, you know, I'd like to thank Linda for finding, Thomas Miles. I've sent everybody Thomas Miles's, his credentials, and he is a pyrolysis engineer with impeccable credentials. His father started pyrolysis and pyrolysis consulting in the 40s. He started in the 70s. He's worked around the world. He's been involved in numerous consulting for pyrolysis, waste to fuel, and I would consider him a worldwide expert. He is going to be in Charleston as a keynote speaker on char as a use for water filtration on August 8th. So both his inbound and outbound flights will happen in Atlanta. He will be available and has expressed interest in either before his conference or after his conference in coming by and doing a review, staying for a demonstration of the pyrolysis unit, and then providing his analysis of the viability of the project. And I think that we should jointly agree to have him stop by, and for the Solid Waste Authority to endorse his visit. And so, you know, with you two guys sitting here, that's really what I'd like to do. If our credibility is truly in providing our facts, and you guys believe in any of the things that are going on over there, this is a great opportunity to show the community that you believe that this project is viable. And if he does say that this is a viable project, then we're all good. But if he doesn't say the project is viable, if he has another, if his report is something else, then you need to agree that we should open this up for how we move forward. And so that's what I'm looking for today, is just a nod of the head. He's gonna be here August 8th. You guys have got plenty of time before Tuesday to convene, and have a meeting, to get this board back Tuesday night, an approval that you're willing to participate, and then we can go forward and we can start the healing process in our community. And so, that's what I'm gonna be asking for on Tuesday night when we talk about a motion. His fee for that is $5,000. If as a county, you feel like that's something that we can't afford, then I will give Sean the money and he can give it to Mr. Moss. So, there's no financial disincentive not to have him come. Thank you.
I would even help you pay for that.
I would appreciate it. I think it's an investment in our community that now both of us are willing to do.
Well, I did get the document. I was in an IDA meeting when I received the email, so I have not had a chance to take a look at his credentials. But I will take a look at it, and I know Commissioner Fletcher is out, but he will be back in on Tuesday as well. And we can further that conversation at that time. Nancy, do you have anybody else, any other comments?
No, I haven't had a chance to look at his credentials either.
His credentials are impeccable. I mean, it's everything that Johnny has talked about, from the char to pyrolysis to using waste to fuel. I mean, it's years.
Well, as usual, Commissioner Lovett has thrown something at us at the last minute, blindsided us with it, and I want an opportunity to be able to review the credentials and look at it, and so, and I don't think that's too much to ask. Commissioner Flowers not here,
No.
and so I think
Well,
it's
this
an
is-
opportunity to look at those. I don't
So
think
this
that's
is a
too much to
workshop.
ask.
You know, this is a workshop, and this is the time that you bring this information forward, so that we can have these discussions, so, you know. we
You
can
asked for a
provide it.
nod of the heads, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna nod my head today. I've not even had an opportunity.
I would just like to know that you would look at this and consider it,
I
and
will
then,
definitely look at
yes,
this.
and then you could convene a board.
Sure.
On Tuesday, we could have an answer from you guys that says yes or no, that
Convene
you'll
the board.
convene the solid waste authority board, so that on Tuesday night, we could have an agreement from you guys that says we're gonna participate in an engineering audit.
I cannot speak for the solid waste authority board here, nor can Chairman Traylor.
Not asking you.
We
The
will-
audience can't
we
hear you
will-
guys.
We will take that back to the board.
Great.
And also, Amy, I know you'll have a chance to look at it too, because I know the request previously was for you to possibly look at, obtaining an attorney, an engineer. So, I don't know if you've actually started looking on your own. I know we had asked you to do that before, so if you could, review this as well.
Sure, absolutely, and I had not, if the direction is to investigate alternate engineers, or have some options for you all, then please let me know that, so I can act in the way that y'all are directing. But I have just briefly reviewed this particular engineer's credentials.
What are your thoughts?
He seems to be knowledgeable on the particular topic that we would like for him to look at.
He's the keynote speaker at the water filtration conference in Charleston, and the use of char derived from pyrolysis
Okay.
in water filtration. So I would consider, if you're the keynote speaker at someone else's industry in its conference, I would consider you an expert, yeah.
And I will say that the hiring of an engineer, assuming that, let's just say that the authority rejects our request to inspect, I think it's valuable to have an engineer look at the situation of the documents. So I think you can authorize something that may involve some possible scenarios here.
So just for clarification, so what you're saying is, if they don't allow him access, we can hire him anyway. And I mean, there's 12,000 pages of documents. We can provide that information for him and get an analysis based on the information that the solid waste has provided over the decade.
Sure, I would think that he would be able to provide us with an engagement letter that includes what his possible roles are. And that could include review of the current information that we have, or potentially a review of an inspection, that involves an inspection. So, yeah,
I provided you his contact number, and I told him that you would be reaching out.
sure, I will do that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sean, do you have an administrative report today, or are you gonna wait on Tuesday? Still gonna wait till Tuesday?
I'll wait on Tuesday.
Good deal. All right, the next item on our agenda is the public comments. Harold Jackson.
Harold Jackson, 200 Laurel Drive, Barnesville. Back when, before the purchase, this Fred's building out here, Mr. Trail and I had a conversation about some of the things that was going on, what was coming out here. One of them was the tag office. Told they was gonna move out here, and I asked him about the drive-through, where the seniors could come through and get their tags. Well, it's right over there, and it's never been opened, and he told me that's one thing that was going to happen. Hadn't happened as of yet, and I would like to see something done about that. I have some friends that struggle to get in and out of this building, get their tags. And the other thing is the conflict council. The people asked her, answer one question. And that question has not been answered yet. Now, when are we, the people, gonna have a chance to talk to the conflict council about that question? I'd like an answer for that maybe Tuesday night. Or if she's here, maybe she can answer it now. Can that question be asked of her now? I guess not, nobody's replying.
What's the question?
If it was legal for Ryan to sit on the solid waste authority because his time had expired, and it was not a vote for him to go back on that council, and he has been to the meetings and voted. I think if it's not legal for him to sit on that board, none of the meetings were legal either. So I think that needs to be looked into and investigated. Thank you.
Okay, the next person, James Hott.
James Hyde, 116 White Oak Drive, and I was actually going to not comment and reserve my comments because they were gonna be about the High Falls project. But, coming off of a high with a meeting with the Lamar and Barnesville Industrial Authority this morning, felt like that went very well with some concerned citizens. And hearing that Lamar County has already sent a message to the state that we don't want that variance to go through. That was promising news. And then I got here and my high was just obliterated. I read back through the minutes from December, January, and February. The question, no offense, Harold, the question that the conflict attorney was authorized to answer, and the reason she was retained, was whether Mr. Traylor and Ms. Thrash could vote on any thing regarding the solid waste authority. I had already given you the answer to that straight out of state law. She's not answered that question. And I'm appalled that we paid her $19,000+ to show up here and answer two questions that are completely irrelevant. First of all, spelled out in state law, all you need to do is be able to read and understand the English language. The solid waste authority can't be dissolved until all debt is resolved. That's the $27.5 million, plus whatever else they have. So that's not even a question at this point. And this just, I'm at a loss for words. She somehow, actually, we spoke after the solid waste authority meeting, and the conflict council somehow is under the impression that she works for you and not for us. Apparently, she's never read the state constitution. Working for you is working for us, and refused to answer any questions. I have to sympathize with Harold's point there. That one question still isn't, well, it is answered, Harold, I'm sorry. I've answered it for this committee, or commission several times. They are financially compromised. They did not have any authority whatsoever to vote on anything to do with the solid waste authority. That leaves 3 members, which is a quorum, and that vote should have happened without them. Thank you.
Okay, the next person is Donald Hartman.
Donald Hartman, 507 Milner Road. Had several other things I was going to talk about that I wanted to share today at the workshop, but in lieu of the topic today, in regards to Mr. Lovett bringing out, it appears that we have a experienced professional in regards to waste of fuel, waste of energy, pyrolysis, char, et cetera, et cetera. This guy seems and appears to me to be a top-notch guy, and is he's the go-to guy. I think a word that I've said many times before, transparency. That transparency is needed for our citizens, and I think this individual can help provide a lot of transparency and answers for our citizens, who you guys represent. And I support bringing this guy on board. I mean, economically, money-wise, he's got my full support. I like that idea. Somebody that knows what they're doing, bringing them in, doing an overview, where we stand at, where we're headed. Is it a failure now? You know, I'm not trying to slam the project, don't get me wrong. But in regards to transparency, I think we need to move forward in regards to Mr. Lovett bringing up the professional that's been found. And let's get that oversight on this project. Let's find out exactly where we are. Is the equipment good? Is it bad? Is this good and bad? I think we just need some answers. Again, transparency for our citizens. I support the project or that move. And I think council's working together. We should professionally come together and, you know, convene in such a way that public representation is being made. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Alright, next, Elaine Delata.
Elaine Halata, 131 Steeplechase. Once again, I will state that I am one of the 90% who voted for a solid waste authority engineering audit or an investigation. Nancy, you just mentioned that you didn't want to be blindsided. Do you not remember that we just had an election and 90% of the people wanted this? So don't say you're